In 2018, I had to make the hardest decision in business I've ever had to make in my life. In hindsight, it's birthed the person you hear from to today. My whole outlook on being an entrepreneur changed. And not to cry, though I did, but to Google how to stop from crying. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when the grind grinds you down. Welcome to Alllegalfetti Presents, where we strip away the highlight reels and talk about what it really takes to build something from nothing. And I'm Fetti. I want this to be a judgment-free zone for future makers like you and I who've ever felt the weight of the world on their shoulders. Did you know 72% of entrepreneurs report mental health struggles? Yet, we're all still out here posting Monday motivation like we got it figured out. Why? "72% of us are struggling." Let that sink in. That's not a margin of error. That's a crisis. Here's the hustler's reality check. We wear those sleepless nights like they're badges of honor. We post hustle mode selfies at 3 a.m. Filters hiding the panic attacks. Why? Because admitting you're drowning feels like you're admitting to failure. See, we've been sold on this lie that struggle equals strength, when really, it's just survival. Let me tell you about my friend. Let's call him Alex. Alex built a company that he devoted years to sleepless nights. Know what he told me after he was able to sell his company? I don't even remember my kid's first steps. See, he was too busy grinding to even watch the video. That's the emotional tax. It's not just burnout. It's trading pieces of your humanity for a shot at success. And don't even get me started on the platitudes. It'll all be worth it when you make it. Bullshit. What's making it? A car? A huge social media following? More like a tombstone that says, "Here lies an entrepreneur who never took a sick day." I don't want this to be a sob story. Use this as a wake-up call. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 3 silent killers of entrepreneurship: guilt, isolation, and the myth that you have to choose between your business and your sanity. We're going to talk about why therapy is still a dirty word in entrepreneurship circles and how to change that. The moment I realized my ambition was just trauma in a blazer. How to build a business that doesn't demand your soul as collateral. If you're like me, or you've ever canceled a family gathering to take a sales call, or you lied to your friends and family with a "I'm fine" while you're really dying on the inside, this episode is your permission slip to stop pretending. Let's get a little uncomfortable. Before we go further, I need to confess something. Last year, I had what I call my "I better make it by 40" breakdown. So let me take you back to a Tuesday night last winter. I was hunched over my iPad in a dimly lit parking lot outside of my 9 to 5, quote unquote, scarfing down a cold slice while Ryan's voice memo played through my car speakers. "Daddy, when are you coming home? We make snow angels." 5 days out the week, I miss bedtime. I'm a father of 2, a husband, a full-time employee, and a business owner. I'm just trying to turn my hustle mentality into something real. Every morning I wake up at 4:30 a.m. just to squeeze in 2 hours of work before my only time I get with my oldest daughter before she goes to school. Every night, I'm grinding until the wee hours of the morning, researching, invoicing, pleading with clients who ghost after will 100% pay for it tomorrow, after talking to me for hours. 2 years ago, I missed many of my daughter's firsts. Not because I wasn't there, I was, but I was too busy replying to a supplier's email on my phone to notice her and being there in the moment. My wife constantly asks me, when will you separate work from home? Those are the moments that haunt. This is the duality nobody warns you about. You're working two jobs to give your kids the life you never had, but in the process, you're missing the life they actually have. You're the breadwinner, but it feels like you're crumbling under the weight of, what if I'm not enough? I remember sitting in my car after a huge contract that to this day would have set me up for years to come, and it blew up. The owner said, my proposal, while amazing, but they decided to go in another direction. Meanwhile, my daughter's school raised their tuitions. Plans for that money was already spent. I was mentally and literally looking up, scaling options, moving to a new place, just for seeing the future. You know, counting your eggs before they hatch. That night, it broke me down. Not the cinematic, single tear kind. The snot dripping, why can't I just keep up? Here's the truth. Entrepreneurship, when you're the safety net, isn't a hustle. It's a tightrope. One misstep and the people you love most fall with you. You lie awake, tallying risk. If I quit my job to go all in, will we lose the house? If I don't, will I regret it on my deathbed? And the isolation is deafening. While other dads are out there trading barbecue tips, you're Googling how to calculate quarterly taxes on your phone. Your friends think you're living a dream, but you haven't had a dream in months. Just to-do list and panic. But here's my why and why I keep going. My daughter has never had to go to a public school. Nothing against them. Ain't no need to go to one if I couldn't afford for her to go to a private school. But that's my why. When I'm working on projects and my wife and I band together, making 1,000 items for a school, and the feeling of completion and accomplishment that only good old-fashioned stick-to-itiveness, or when my daughter draws me, not in my work uniform, not in a suit, me, sitting at my cluttered kitchen table with my laptop, sticky notes everywhere, and she wrote on it, my daddy helps people build their business to buy me toys. That messy, sleep-deprived version of me. To her, I'm a superhero. So yeah, I'm not meeting the marks. My business is 18 months behind where I planned. I haven't had a real vacation in 4 years. But I'm learning to measure success differently. And the I'm sorry I missed dinner hugs and the grit it takes to say maybe failing forward is enough. And when the guilt creeps in, I remind myself my kids aren't just watching me build a business, they're watching me build resilience. They're learning that showing up, even when you're limping, it still counts. So I want to give you a case study. Let me give you an example. Jamila started Spices Soul in 2022 after years of friends raving about her homemade jerk rub and pepper blends. If you're West Indian, you know a little bit about pepper blends. As a single mom, working part-time as a teacher, she saw it as a way to honor her Jamaican grandmother's recipes while creating generational wealth. She took $500 out of her tax refund and she invested it into labels, jars, and a pop-up tent. Jamila worked weekdays teaching third grade. She prepped spices at night and sold at markets on weekends. Her 6-year-old son often helped by sticking labels crookedly on jars. Her relatives sometimes criticized her for wasting time instead of pursuing stable careers. Why even sell spices? You have a degree. That's what her aunt was. Competing with mass-produced seasonings, she undercharged to appeal to budget-conscious consumers, barely breaking even. In 2023, Jamila's car broke down on the way to her biggest event yet. Stranded and 200 unsold jars, she called her cousin for a ride. He said, "This isn't sustainable, Jay. You're working 2 jobs and still can't afford new tires." That night, Jamila questioned quit. Shortly after, she linked up with a black-owned meal prep startup to feature her blends as signature flavors in their kits. She redid her labels with her grandma's photo and the tagline, "Recipes that survive the test of time." Sales jumped 70%, which in her case, still on a micro level, was a huge increase, and Jamila was able to raise her prices by 20% after a customer said, "Your story alone make these worth double." She hired her niece for the weekend markets so that she could have more time with her son. See, Jamila's why shifted. "I'm not just selling spices, I'm preserving history and teaching my son that black joy is a form of resistance." She's still not all that profitable, but her community rallies for her. When a local chef featured her blends on a Food Network show, she texted her cousin, "The tires can wait because we're rolling now." Jamila's story isn't about making it. It's about redefining success when you're building from scratch. Let's break down how to avoid burnout when your business is your baby and your side hustle. Jamila's story isn't just grit, it's also neuroscience. When society says, "hustle harder," your brain begs you to rest, who will you listen to? When your brain is on chronic stress, why hustle culture backfires? Prolonged stress floods the body with cortisol, shrinking the prefrontal cortex. That's the brain CEO for decision making, and amplifying the amygdala. That's the panic button. See, Jamila's 90-hour weeks weren't just exhausting, they literally impaired her ability to think creatively or solve problems. Cortisol overload likely made her default to catastrophizing. "I should quit," instead of strategic pivoting. Stress isn't a badge of honor. Schedule brain breaks, even 10-minute walks. That'll help reset cortisol levels and protect your decision-making power. The imposter syndrome. Marginalized entrepreneurs or small business owners, quote unquote, often face double jeopardy, systemic bias, and internalized doubt. Studies show Black entrepreneurs are 3 times more likely to report feeling unworthy of success, even when objectively qualified. Jamila's aunt's criticism, "Why sell spices?" that mirrors societal gaslighting that undervalues Black cultural capital. Jamila undercharging her blends wasn't just a pricing error, it reflected subconscious beliefs about her worth. When bias whispers you don't belong, counter it with data. Track testimonials in this instance. Example, the part where "your story makes this worth double," to weaponize your proof of value. Using community as a neurological lifeline, social support triggers oxytocin, which lowers cortisol and boosts resilience. For Jamila, partnering with a Black-owned meal prep startup wasn't just strategic. It biologically reduced her stress level. Research shows marginalized entrepreneurs thrive 40% more in collaborative ecosystems versus grinding alone. Her pivot worked because community trust replaced transactional hustle. Isolation kills innovation. Trade networking for nurture. Build 2 to 3 reciprocal relationships where you can say, "I'm drowning," and nobody judges you. You don't need another 5-step strategy. You need 5-minute fixes that keep you from imploding. I want you to try these today. Pick one of these hacks and DM me your results. 1. Cortisol reset for your chronic stress. It's called box breathing. What you're going to do is you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, you're going to hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. And you're going to keep this on repeat for 2 minutes. This resets your vagus nerve, lowering cortisol by 20% in minutes. Use this before high-stake decisions, i.e. sales calls. Next time you're stuck in a stress spiral, steal this Navy SEAL trick. Breathe like your sanity depends on it, because it does. 2. Receipts ritual. This will address the imposter syndrome that you may be feeling. What you're going to do is you're going to write one proof of worth, post it. Grab a customer testimony, example, your spices changed my cooking, and stick it on your laptop. Touch it daily. This works because physical reminders rewire neural pathways to combat self-doubt. Your haters keep receipts, so should you. That time a stranger called you the GOAT, that's not fluff, that's data. Number 3, for oxytocin boost, for isolation, I want you to send a 20-second voice note. What you do is record to another business owner. Today sucked. You get it? No solutions needed, just solidarity. Vulnerability triggers oxytocin, reducing stress and fostering trust. Loneliness is a liar. Hit record, vent for 20 seconds, and remember, you're not shouting into the void. We're all just out here waving flashlights. I want you to imagine you're an owner of a sustainable skincare brand. You're juggling production delays, a tight budget, and a pressure to scale. You're paralyzed by fear of making the wrong decision, leading to missed opportunities and burnout. You spend hours researching packaging suppliers but can't commit, terrified of choosing a vendor that might delay orders or harm your eco-friendly commitment. Family members warned you. Small businesses can't afford to make mistakes, amplifying that pressure. Lost sleep, constant second guessing, leaving you too drained to pitch retailers or engage with your community. It sounds familiar, right? I'm going to give you 2 steps that you can use. Step 1, the 70% rule for decisive action. What you're going to do is make decisions when you have 70% of the information you think you need. Perfect data is a myth, especially in fast-moving industries. This will work because it reduces overthinking by accepting good enough as progress. It also frees up mental space for high-impact tasks. Example, customer outreach. When you're applying the 70% rule, in the case that I've mentioned before, pick a packaging supplier that meets 70% of their criteria, i.e., eco-certified, and they're within your budget. Then negotiate the remaining 30% faster turnaround, post-commitment. Step 2, you're going to create a journal called the Failure Dividend Journal. Each night, I want you to write one failure, a decision that didn't pan out, like a delayed shipment, and one dividend, an unexpected lesson or win from that failure. Example, you built a stronger client relationship via transparent communication. This will work because it reframes mistakes as paid tuition, not losses. Builds resilience by highlighting progress invisible in the moment. So after you choose a supplier, You log delays as failure, late delivery, but the dividend is that you discovered a backup local printer for emergencies. This common story isn't about indecision. It's about the lie that as entrepreneurs, to get to the next level, business owners must be flawless to survive. Here's the truth. Your power isn't in avoiding mistakes. It's in owning them. Try the 70% rule today, and tonight, write your first failure dividend intro. Spoiler, you'll realize you're further ahead than you think. Time for Unfiltered Inbox, where I'm going to read your raw, anonymous truths. Today's confession comes from a hustler we'll call Talia. So let's dive in. Talia says, I'm a black mom running a hair care business from my kitchen. My family keep asking for free products to support, but when I say no, they call me greedy. Meanwhile, hair care influencers demand 80% discounts for a collab. I'm exhausted explaining my worth. Last week, my son asked me why I'm always angry at the computer. I cried for an hour. Am I failing him in my business? I'm trying to showcase my talent and run a business. Talia, first, you're not failing. You're fighting a system that tells women to shrink their worth to make others comfortable. Let's break that down. When family says, why charge us? They're not seeing your labor, the late nights, the supply costs, the mental load. Jamila, she faced the same. Her fix, a boundary script. I love you, but discounts keep me from hiring my niece. Let's celebrate when I hit my goals. She also faces the double discount dilemma. Social media influencers lowballing you, that's systemic devaluation. Flip the script on them. My prices honor my entrepreneurial spirit and my physical labor. Here's my rate card. If they have a problem, then they're not the collaborators you need to work with. To fix the angry at the computer, what your son really sees is your fire. He doesn't see the film. Tonight, I want you to try this. Pull up a customer testimonial, something like your project saved my edges, and read it aloud with him. Let him see your pride. Legacy isn't built in silence. It's built in those moments. To every Talia listening, I want you to screenshot one positive review. Set it as your lock screen. Every time guilt whispers, tap. If you have your own business confession, DM us anonymously at all.legalfetti. Your confession could be the lifeline another hustler needs. Remember, vulnerability isn't weakness, it's rebellion. If that hits home, pause this episode, breathe. You're not broken, you're navigating a broken system. I want to give you a practical toolkit to live by. 3 survival strategies in being an entrepreneur. 1. The 5-minute soul check. Ask yourself daily, am I running towards a vision or am I running away from shame? Number 2, boundary scripts, like Jamila used. I can't take this call. It's my therapy hour. It's my therapy hour. It isn't unprofessional. It's leadership. Number 3, my favorite, the fuck it bucket. Literally write down pressures to please others and burn them safely or mentally. Let's take a page from Rachel Rogers' We Should All Be Millionaires. It's a manifesto for women, especially women of color, done with settling for less. Listen to this. This is from her book, We Should All Be Millionaires, chapter, The Wealthy Woman Mindset. As Black women, we are taught to shrink, to accommodate, to be grateful for scraps. But the truth is, our ancestors did not survive slavery, segregation, and sexism for us to play small. They survived so we could build empires. When I raised my coaching rates from $2,000 to $20,000, I panicked. Who would pay that? Then I realized my pricing wasn't about me. It was about disrupting a system that says women of color shouldn't profit widely from their genius. Every dollar I earn funds scholarships for black girls, invest in black-owned startups, and proves that our worth isn't up for debate. Stop asking, can I charge this? Start declaring it. This is the cost of assessing my magic. Your community isn't owed discounts. They're owed your unapologetic success. Jamila, Talia, this should be your anthem. When society says stay in your lane, Rachel says build a new highway. When your auntie fronts on you about your prices, remember, your magic isn't a coupon code. It's a birthright. And that wealthy woman mindset Rachel mentions, I want to break that down too. 1, charge like the business person you want to be because you are. 2, profit is power, the kind that funds financial freedom. 3, your no to discounts is a yes to dignity. So next time guilt creeps in, ask, am I honoring my business or am I apologizing for it? Now, on a more universal level, I offer you this. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Chapter, The Plateau of Latent Potential. James goes to say, breakthroughs are often preceded by seasons of invisible work. You're not failing, you're accumulating. Every jar sold, every late night, every no that steals your resolve is compounding. Success isn't an event, it's a habit. Jamila's story isn't unique to her being a woman, it's atomic habits in action. James reminds us, progress hides in the grind. So next time guilt whispers, you're stuck, hit back with, I'm just stacking my wins. Before we wrap up, it's time for a hustler reality check. The truth hurts, but it also heals. So get ready for something to feed that drive. Look, I get it. You're grinding around the clock, sacrificing everything for your baby, your business. You post motivational quotes, brag about no days off, and dreams of Shark Tank stardom. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you stopped just to catch your breath? The ugly truth is, hustle culture is a pyramid scheme. It convinces you that white knuckling your way to the top is the only path to fulfillment. But the higher you climb, the lonelier it gets. Jamila, and like many of us entrepreneurs, we all hit a wall because here's the check. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep depriving yourself of sleep, self-care, and the people who matter most, your dream will become your prison. That 90-hour work week she had, it's not a certificate. It's a trauma response. That imposter syndrome you can't shake, it's not a personal failing. It's a symptom of a rigged system. So let me be clear. Pouring your heart and savings into your business doesn't make you a superhero. It makes you human. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start rebuilding a life, not just a livelihood. You're about to pull an all-nighter for the hustle. Ask yourself, what am I really running from? Burnout? Failure? You know that nagging voice that says, you'll never be enough? Whatever it is, I'm here to tell you, you already are. All right, it's time to get real. That micro hack we talked about earlier, the 5-minute soul check, do it now. Ask yourself, am I running toward a vision or away from shame? Your business didn't give you worth. You brought that with you. So stop proving it and start living it. Next week, we'll dissect the lies of passion pays the bills. Spoiler, sometimes monetizing your hobby kills the magic. I'm going to give you some homework. I want you to text one person today and say, I'm not okay. If you got no one, feel free to DM me. I'm here. This is Alllegalfetti reminding you you're not a machine. Even Amazon Web Services crashes sometimes. And before I wrap up, let's keep it a buck. This podcast ain't a solo mission. It's a movement. If today's episode made you nod, cry, or rethink your hustle at all, do me a solid. Rate and review. I need you to smash that 5-star rating and drop a fire emoji in the comments. Algorithms hate us? Let's give them a reason to care. Share the hustle. I need you to tag a founder who needs this reality check. No gatekeeping. Real ones lift as they climb. If you like, join the community. Our Discord's growing with hustlers like you, trading war stories, free templates, and midnight vent sessions. The link is going to be in the bio. No egos, just grinding it out. The Alllegalfetti Startup and Essentials Kit. And lastly, success isn't a finish line. It's the guts to keep going when the world says quit. I want you to stay messy, but stay relentless. And remember, your hustle's worth more than likes. It's legacy. Until next week, keep building, keep breaking rules, and keep your receipts.